Hi guys, welcome to my sports world. New week. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this week. What a special week this is going to be. Premier League will be back after the international break. Manchester United is playing on Saturday against Newcastle, and Ronaldo is maybe going to start. Who knows? That's big, very big. I'm sorry, let me adjust my camera a little bit. There we go. That's huge. I'm not big on these international breaks. Beside that, NFL season is starting up this Thursday night. Dallas Cowboys against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, kicking off the season. And then on Sunday, my other team, San Francisco 49ers, are kicking it off, and they're playing against Detroit Lions. So this is going to be a huge week, huge weekend, a lot of sports, a lot of things going on, and I can't wait. I'm ready. Bring it on. Okay, let's get back into it, and let's look at what we're going to talk about today. And today, because there's been so much focus on a certain player, I'm going to give my take on it and what we can do. And I think this will be for the best for the team. I think we are onto something here. Of course, we're talking about Donny Beek and his role in the play, in the game, in the team, in the squad, whatever you want to call it. Can he be the guy? Why hasn't he been chosen earlier? There's many reasons, and a lot of people have been touching about it and talking about it. I'm going to give my 2 cents. I'm going to give my view on it. Every time I film in this corner, I get so freaking dozy. So let's just jump straight into it. Donny Beek. Well, I've been tinkering. When you see the video on YouTube, there's like a preview thing. You can see that I have made a soccer formation thing. It looks like a 4-4-2, and I think that a 4-4-2 can be a good thing against Newcastle. I think that can work really good. So let's start with what I would consider to be a really good starting 11 against Newcastle. So let's just go. In goal, we can only use for this game David De Gea. He's a given number one right now. So no controversy there. On left back we have Luke Shaw. Right back Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In the middle, we have Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane. Given. That back four is done deal. Bank, Claw, Walt, you know it. On the middle, here's where it, for me, becomes a little bit interesting. On the left-hand side, on the middle, we have Paul Pogba. He also works as a winger. So he works from the midfield up on the side. That's his area. That's his responsibility. On the other side, on the right-hand side, from the middle up to the corner flag, trying to get dribbled past and do corner, maybe like do some crosses in, like Paul Pogba on the other side. And of course they can do stickers in and do runs inside and like cooperate with the other guys. So I think that could be a good thing. On the middle, in the 4-4-2, the little offset, like I call it an offset, which the two in the middle is not on the line. One is a little bit higher up than the other, and the one that is higher up, a little bit more offensive, a little bit more progressive, is Bruno Fernandes. I do that because he is the supporting cast, supporting link between the mid and the strikers and also the back four. So Bruno Fernandes has a little offset position in the middle in a 4-4-2. The one that is laying a little bit further back is not Fred, it's not McTominay, it's not Mata, it's not Matic, it's Donny van de Beek. He has said in an interview lately, the other day, that in fact he used to play as a number 6 and a number 8. And he said, I can do a number 6 role without a problem. I can play that position. Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, listen to what he said. He can play 6. He cannot be any worse than Fred. Fred is a disaster. Yes, he might be a likable guy. He might have a good personality. He might be a hard worker, but damn, he doesn't have much quality in his legs or in his football IQ. So please, once and for all, get Fred on the bench where he is a bench player. He's a backup if something goes wrong. So please put Donny van de Beek in the middle and lift the squad's quality tenfold. Okay. Then on top, we have Cavani and Ronaldo. Either way, they can mix and mingle and change positions. One on the left, one on the right. They are in the box, both of them. They're both poachers. They're both assassins. They're both in there to just steal a goal. And they're both really good at it. They both are the two best strikers in the world and has been for the last 20 years. So if we can have a 4-4-2 with a little offset in the middle, I think we are onto something good. And I think that Newcastle will struggle with it. Last time I saw Newcastle play against a 4-4-2, their creativity and their going forward motion was pretty halted. So I think that a 4-4-2 against Newcastle absolutely is to go with. And I tell you, De Gea in goal. Luke Shaw, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Maguire, Varane. Then you have Pogba, Sancho, Bruno, Van de Beek. And on the top, you have Cavani and Ronaldo. Then you might say, well, you're leaving out Greenwood, you're leaving out Lingard, you're leaving out so many good players. Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but in football or soccer, there's a reality called you can only play 11 players at one given time. So someone has to sit on the bench. I don't care. There are two halves of 45 minutes. At some point, you might want to do some subs. And I see that, with Cavani being 34, Ronaldo being 36, over a season of 38 games, you can't play them in every game for 45 minutes times 2. So there are going to be subs here. And I see that people like, Greenwood can come in and substitute for either Cavani or Ronaldo without a problem. And you're not really sacrificing quality too much. A little bit you will, but not too much, because Mason Greenwood is an amazing player. Then you might say, well, what about Pogba? Who can replace him or substitute with him? Well, you have people like Rashford that when he comes back from injury or surgery in about a month time from now, maybe, that's a normal substitution for Pogba if that doesn't work or if he needs to go out. On the right hand side, on the left hand side, you can also use Lingard if you want to. On the right hand side, I think Amad Diallo is still in the squad. I didn't think he go on loan. So if he's healthy, he can replace Sancho. You might say, well, we sold Daniel James. Screw Daniel James, okay? I don't miss him at all. We have so many other players that can do that job. So when we get Facundo Pellistri back, that's another player that can do that job. And I think that was also what was in Manchester United's thought of practical thoughts here. It's like, okay, we have Jadon Sancho, we have Facundo Pellistri, and we have Ahmad. So we don't need Daniel James. Daniel James was the easy target to sell. And he really did, from what has come out in the interview now, he really didn't have a heart for Manchester United. Screw that boy. He can go wherever he freaking wants. If you don't have the heart to play for your club or give 100% in every freaking tackle, in every freaking run, then you don't belong in the club, okay? So take your little two shoes good foods and run off to Leeds. That's where you belong. So yeah, the squad is great right now. I think we're getting into a better and better place. And we have subs that can come in and do the work. And we have a starting 11 that is freaking amazing. So my suggestion to Ole, I know he's not watching, but as a fellow Norwegian, hey, play Cavani and Ronaldo on top together in a 4-4-2 against most team in the Premier League. Maybe against Liverpool and Manchester United and Chelsea, you might want to go with a different setup or formation. But most of these mid-range teams and the bottom feeders, if you play a 4-4-2 against them, you're set to, and you're good to go. Because you can have Cavani and Ronaldo on top, which will stretch most teams because both of them are demanding people to defend. And especially Cavani, who do these runs, and he's stretching the back four by himself. If you have two of them, Cavani can be the perfect decoy to get Ronaldo open. I tell you, 4-4-2 with Cavani and Ronaldo on top, and Donny van de Beek and Bruno in the central middle, in a little offset position where Donny has the more defensive stand and Bruno has more offensive stand. It's perfect. Bruno can support both Cavani and Ronaldo from the middle. You have Pogba and Sancho that can support both of the strikers from the side. Man, is that a good freaking lineup. And 4-4-2 will work perfectly. In some games, you might even want to do 4-3-3. I mean, that you can use almost the same setup. I have gone through the 4-4-2, the diamond, the 4-3-3 in previous videos. I mean, there's so many options and opportunities now. So you just have to trust the players. And I think that Donny van de Beek, as a number 6, or defensive holding midfielder, I think he can do a great job. He's strong. He's safe on the ball. He has good passing. He has a good oversight, both backwards and forwards. Did I say he has a good passing foot? Yes. He's strong on the ball. He's a good dribbler. And on set pieces, you could even pull him up and towards the goal. Let him roam outside the 18-yard box because he has a good shot as well. And if he gets the ball, he can also be kind of like a Bruno to distribute the balls around. So he's a good midfielder. And I think he's better this year. I think he needed last year to... I wasn't too much on the Donny van de Beek off the bench wagon last year. Because I felt that I saw him in a few games. He was a little bit too protective. He was a little bit too unsure. He had some good moments here and there. But from what I have seen this year in training and online and his presence, he looks more bulky. He looks like he's built muscles. He looks more confident. Last year he kind of had his head down. Now he has his head up. Totally different vibes that I get this year from him. So I think he can be a good midfielder together with Bruno, Pogba, and Sancho. Like I said, Sancho and Pogba has their responsibilities from the midfield and up to the corner flags on each side. And so a 4-4-2 like that, of course, will put more responsibility on each player to do their job and do it good, okay? And I think that's standards. That has nothing to do with what players are capable of doing, because I think that all these players have the capability of doing it. But it's just raising your standards to do it every game, multiple times. Everything you try is a raising standard thing, okay? We have seen Pogba do it. Pogba is flourishing. He's a sparkle on that left-hand side. I mean, that is one of the best places I have seen Pogba. And I think that you just give Sancho some time, and he will do the same up there on the right-hand side. And I think that as soon as they get settled in, and you have Pogba and Sancho on each side, going down, up and down there, that side, and down to the corner flags or whatever, and they do their crosses, you will see service for Cavani and Ronaldo like you've never seen before. And of course, if the play-up comes from the middle, you have Donny van de Beek and Bruno, both strong passers. Fred can't pass for shit. He couldn't even hit a 200-foot big wall from 40 yards away if he even tried to. That's how bad his link-up play in the mids are. Game after game I've been watching, and I see Fred give the ball away to the opponents. and sometimes in really, really bad positions where it in fact could have led to a goal. Point intended. And look at the last game where we played against Wolves. The pass in where he was the last man of defense, because I think it was right after a set piece. And the ball came to him and it hits his leg and it goes straight to a Wolf player who runs down the middle towards our goal, and Fred tries to recoup and get back and get the ball back, and he's too weak. He's just run over and he falls, and a shot is being fired, and thank God for David De Gea for being in goal saving it. That's Fred in a nutshell for you. I mean, Donny is not like that. Donny is stronger on the ball, safer on the ball, and has a way better pass forward, sideways, wherever he want to pass. His balls have addresses on them. Fred lost his shipping label halfway through the pass, and you don't know where that ball is going to end up. Most likely the ball is intercepted by an opponent, or it goes out of the sideline, or it's go to no man's land. I can't believe he scored that goal in that Leeds game. That was just pure luck, I guess. I guess he closed his eye and just hit the ball and hoping for the best. But yeah, no, Fred is so outdated. He's so bad. I've tried to defend the dude and come up with explanations in previous talks with people. But hey, give him some time. He might be showing off his good side soon. And he's had 1 or 2 games over the last couple of years where he's like, oh, he's good. He's really, if he wants to. But it's about, sometimes it's when you play shitty opponents too that doesn't have man-to-man press. Because when you press Fred, he gets flustered and he panics and he makes mistakes. Donny doesn't do that. Donny is way more secure in his person and in his abilities. So yeah, that's why I'm totally on this Donny van de Beek thing now. We gotta get him in the team. He can play on number 6. He can play on number 8. He can play on number 10. So if you need to replace Bruno due to safety precautions because there's many games coming up, you can take Bruno out. You can replace him with Donny van de Beek, or something like that. You don't have to okay, what am I going to do now? Take out Bruno, put in Matic. Yeah, you can do that, and then you just put Van de Beek in Bruno's position. Bruno is like a Swiss cheese or a Swiss Army knife in the middle. He can be used anywhere in the midfield for any reason, in any game, for any given time, for any given duration. 45 minutes, 90 minutes, 3 games a week, doesn't matter. I think Donny can be one of those players that are... He and McTominay is kind of like similar in a way, but not in another way, if you get what I mean. They're both very reliable. They're both very solid. But I think maybe Donny has a bigger upside and a bigger ceiling than McTominay. McTominay is way better than Fred. So when McTominay gets healthy again, I don't see any reasons to use Fred anymore. You have McTominay and you have Donny van de Beek. You don't need to use Fred. He's a backup at best. Get him sold in the January window. Get him sold in the summer transfer window next year. But he's not a good player to have around at Manchester United. I can tell you that. So, guys, I gave you my 2 cents. I am absolutely up for this with Donny van de Beek stepping in and taking the number 6 role by the scuff of the neck and claiming it as his position. We don't need to go out and look for a defensive midfielder. We have one. Donny said it himself. I can play number 6. I used to play as number 6 before I was retrained or reused as a number 8 and number 10. You have your answer right there. And I for one think that we don't need to go out and get any defensive midfielder in January. Use Van de Beek for a year and see how it turns out. If it turns out great, you can save your money and you can go for Haaland and another midfielder to replace Pogba next year, because I think Pogba will be leaving. So until then, take care, guys.